At the very end, when Leprechaun's gonna die, what the fuck does the kid say?
Oh my god! Oh my god! I think I took a note on it because I thought it was so ridiculous.
Please do.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Welcome to Camp Counselors, a More Butter show where we discuss, debate, and inform each other about the best and worst campy movies out there. I am, of course, your host, Mista GG, joined today by
Amanda the Jedi, who is here just to remind you once again to subscribe to the show on YouTube and make sure you are following the show on Spotify. Helps the show grow. You can get us even higher up that top 50 in TV and film podcast list, which we are thankfully already on. So make sure to leave those 5-star reviews so we can reach that #1 spot.
very lovely indeed. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we will be discussing the infamous 1993 film Leprechaun, if you guys are familiar. But before that, I do want to say we haven't had Amanda on in a while. Amanda, what you been up to? What's been going on?
Not much. I was supposed to be in Texas right now for South by Southwest. And then I'd been traveling so much and they changed a bunch of the rules last minute for things. So I was like, you know what? I don't really want to get COVID. I've dodged it so far. I'm just most of the movies are all out by the end of April. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to go to Texas to watch a bunch of movies. And then I got the closest COVID encounter that I'm aware of while being back home in my tiny little town. So for the past week, I've had I was worried that I had COVID, but it was just allergies. So,
let's go. Okay. That's how it always is. You go to this big ass crowd and you're like, yeah, no, I'm probably 1,000% going to get it. And then it happens just in the smallest sector of your life. And you're like, you fucking kidding me? This is the breakout?
That's exactly it. I've been all over the place. I've been traveling to different countries, different states, all over Canada. And it was just this is when I'm going to get it. This is when you're going to fuck you.
Okay, well, shout out the immune gang over here on Camp Counselors. Never gotten COVID. Exactly. As far as I know. And there's been breakouts nearby, but we're out here with the antibodies, baby. I'm doing all right. Trying to keep busy right now. I'm trying to work on some more just long form projects on the main channel.
Same.
So I'm working on a quote unquote, this is a little sneak peek, like a quote unquote a scam type video.
Ooh, I love those.
Yeah, so just been really studying that, and it's fucking annoying to do research on, but it'll be worth it in the end, I think.
I love that stuff. Those are my favorite videos of yours to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're just the most fun to make. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
That's really what I've been running. But aside from that, nothing except watching Leprechaun. So just in case you guys didn't know, Leprechaun, 90s horror comedy film. It stars a leprechaun. You could have guessed, right? Who likes to murder people, but not really just for the fun of it. It's because a leprechaun wants his pot of gold. He wants his gold, so when he loses his gold, he freaks the fuck out, and he's going to hurt who's ever in his way of retrieving his gold. That's the entire movie. At one point, he separates from the gold because humans are greedy, and then he just goes on a murder trip until he gets it back. That's the plot of the movie. You're welcome. I didn't spoil anything. Amanda,
truly,
have you ever seen Leprechaun before?
No, I hadn't. I knew all about it. I knew of the infamy. I know it kind of became one of these cult classic movies where there's a bunch of sequels as horror movies do. Yeah. But I had never personally experienced this. It's one of those ones that every time I see the cover, I'm like, is that Jennifer Aniston? And it is. So it's one of those. I was like, there's no way that's Jennifer Aniston, but it is in fact her I don't know if it was her debut. Actually, it was her film debut. But I just know that this was one of those movies she was like, I thought this was going to ruin my career.
Oh, yeah, just jumping out the window with that one. That was that was a coin flip how that was going to land. But no, exactly. I was surprised too. I've always been familiar with Leprechaun because growing up, my family used to watch just whatever the fuck in front of me. They didn't really care. It was just horror movies. So I was familiar with all the 90s horror movie villains. And Leprechaun to me was on that roster. You know, I didn't really so much know he was so campy right? So like kind of like more out of bounds than everybody else, I'd say. You know, he's not exactly Michael Myers, but I always put him in the same group, and it was weird because growing up, getting older, and talking to people and like kind of nostalgia talking and shit, no one ever talked to me about Leprechaun. No one ever brought him up, and I was like, "Yo, why's my guy being disrespected right now?" Like he was one of the goats.
He's at least up there with Chucky.
That's what I thought. Like, yo, it's Chucky, it's fucking Michael Myers, it's Freddy Krueger, it's Jason, it's Leprechaun. Like he was like, he's there too, right? We can bring in Hellraiser. You know, it could be a fun little thing.
Ghostface,
but,
you know.
But no one ever talked to me about him, and I was like, maybe my family just watched Leprechaun. Maybe this is like a weird one-off movie. But there's like fucking like 7 parts to this.
I think I didn't even check, but I knew that it's like an obscene amount.
Yeah, because it's
of Leprechaun movies.
It's like Leprechaun in Space, Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Then there's like a Leprechaun Returns, which I don't even know if it's the same fucking series in like the 2010s.
It is. It counts.
Yeah,
that was 2018. That was only 4 years ago.
Yeah, that cover art is disgusting. By the way, that looks horrible.
Is vile.
But anyways, I hadn't seen the first Leprechaun full out. I never have. This is my first time watching it. I had the same reaction. Is that Jennifer Aniston? Oh shit, it is. Yeah, oh, very cool. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I watched the movie, and my first thoughts are, I get it. I get why no one ever talked about Leprechaun. I get why this died. I get why he's never mentioned with the horror goats. And it's because this movie's old, obviously.
Yeah.
This movie's bad. I do not like the Leprechaun movie. Not like... I like Leprechaun himself, because like the makeup's pretty good. He'd be like if I saw him in person, creepy as shit.
Yes.
Right? But
absolutely.
But I just think when he's pinned, and I've only seen part 1, when he's pinned against his contemporaries, even though he's supposed to be campy and bizarre and stupid, it's like he's not as funny as some of them.
No.
The movie is somewhat gruesome, but like not really so much so to where like he stands out, you know, and he's not that well written, and he's scary looking, but he's not bringing fear into anybody. So he's just kind of like average, below average at everything.
Yeah. He feels like a minion to a more intense horror character, like, you know, like Krampus has all these like little things that he sends at people, like that like angel bird that's actually, you know, like that's what the Leprechaun felt like, just this side character minion of some greater like holiday villain just sending out little things, like, and then the whole tone of the movie is like, it doesn't feel like a horror comedy. It feels like they wrote a Disney original movie to be a horror. And then someone was like, yo, if we just like have someone getting pogoed to death with a pogo stick, like this could be an actual, we just throw some blood in here. This could be an actual horror movie.
Wait, this guy's onto something. This guy's onto something right now.
You know, like, let's go this direction. We'll go this direction, you know?
With that, I was waiting for some crazy shit to happen. And that was right before the pogo death, right? Because I was like, okay, Leprechaun, what's your defining characteristic? How am I going to remember you? Because like genuinely, I think the actor who played him does...
Warwick Davis.
Yes, Warwick Davis. Yeah. I think he does a great job for what he was written as. But I don't think Leprechaun's funny at all. No. I didn't like any of his zingers. Even like, and I picked up all of them. I picked up all the puns. I'd like, even after he fucking killed somebody, bouncing on him with a pogo, I think he was like, yo, bounce back. And it was like, see, it just doesn't, it seems forced. I don't like it.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Disney original. It's like a Disney original comedy, except somebody's just like bloody massacred on the floor because he's just been pogoed to death. He kills people with a bunch of like clown-like devices. It's like he's got a tiny little car. He's got a tiny little tricycle. He's got a pogo stick. I was like, is he a leprechaun or is he a clown? Like, what is he? Mm-hmm. What are we doing with this man?
Yeah, and his characteristics are kind of all over the place. I don't really like. Okay, I don't know Leprechaun lore. Sorry, guys, don't mean to offend anybody. So close to St. Patty's Day, I think it just passed. It did, yeah. But do leprechauns shine shoes? Is that a thing the movie wrote, or is that a thing?
He said his specific job as a leprechaun was like a shoemaker. So I don't know if different leprechauns have different lore that you can distract them with what their job is.
So he's a part of an elves community of leprechauns, and they all had just a society.
He said, that's what I just remember early on. He said something about like, I'm a shoemaker by trade or something like that when he's like going after the first dude.
So that was just
who stole his gold.
So that was just written in for him then. He's just,
I think, but maybe it's all leprechauns make shoes. I'm going to Google it. I just want to know. Leprechaun shoemaker? That's going to put me on a list. Yeah. Okay, leprechaun may be derived from the Irish Leith Brogan, meaning shoemaker. So apparently leprechaun as a word might just mean
shoemaker itself.
Shoemaker. He's a cobbler and a shoemaker. So maybe that is actually all leprechauns that are evil can be distracted by shoes.
Okay, so
because he's on his hunt and people will just be like, distract him, and they're just like, eh.
Yeah, that's
he's just like, nah. It's so
that's the ongoing gimmick is like he just kept like shining shoes randomly. Even he would like destroy a house completely, but he's like, but I got to keep these shoes nice and polished. And then like you said,
exactly.
They literally just got to a point where like, oh, if we throw shoes, that's his distraction. That's his kryptonite. Yeah. He just has to shine shoes. Yeah.
Like, why didn't they just drive him down to like Sport Check or wherever you buy Foot Locker, drive him down to Foot Locker,
Payless, and then you win. Game over.
Yeah,
burn down the fucking Foot Locker while he's in it.
Yeah, so much time to find your 4-leaf clover to kill him. Is that something else they wrote? This is something I feel like I should look this up, and I wanted to wait. We're looking this up as if like leprechauns are real because I'm like, do 4-leaf clovers.
We've already gone this far. Just keep rolling with it. Trust me. I really don't think the 4-leaf clover thing is a thing where that's how you defeat leprechauns or that's how you hurt them. Because I mean, we made up the rainbow shit too. Like follow the rainbow to a pot of gold. Like I high key thought that just formed from like Lucky Charms marketing. I didn't think that was an actual thing.
That I knew was like an actual thing. There's even a Lucky Charms joke in this movie.
Yes.
He's literally like, I found me Lucky Charms. Then he's like, disgusting.
And then, I'm like, oh my God, the last, spoilers, guys. Sorry, I don't mean to ruin this film from fucking 30 years ago, but there's at the very end, when Leprechaun's gonna die, what the fuck does the kid say? He says something. Oh my god!
I think I took a note on it because I thought it was so ridiculous. Fuck you, Lucky Charms. He's got like the Dennis the Menace with the clover, and he like scrunches up the clover. Imagine that the only way the 4-leaf clover worked is if it was like fully intact, and this man just like
they're so
I'm gonna
fragile.
Crunch this up so I could. They're so fragile, and like you can't slingshot a 4. I'm sorry, whatever. This is where we're drawing the line at the realism of this movie is slingshotting the 4-leaf clover into his mouth.
Yeah, he says, fuck you, Lucky Charms.
But yeah, fuck you, Lucky Charms. As soon as he said it, I was like,
no.
No, it's literally like an episode of Even Stevens, but just made more brutal. It's like, just like move characters around. Just imagine that little kid is Beans. We don't technically have a direct like Shia comparison, but like, Jennifer Aniston can be Ren. This is what it felt like to me. I was like, this feels like something that would have been on the Disney Channel, but then someone was just like, but let's make it bloody.
The more and more you say it, I'm kind of with you because like I feel like I can allocate it to any Disney show at this point. Like I could even just Boy Meets World. This is just fucking Jennifer Aniston, Topanga. It's just
there you go.
It's pretty much on par. Not much is too different except this random gruesomeness. And I feel like the Leprechaun would have the same lines in those shows.
He would.
Because
just like a little bit less swearing and like, because even if you pogoed somebody and just knocked them out and it didn't kill them, he'd be like, don't worry, you'll bounce back.
Did he even swear? Does like, Leprechaun even swear?
I don't think the Leprechaun does.
I don't remember him saying anything.
I can't remember.
I don't remember him ever saying fuck or shit or...
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I just remember...
Because I was like, maybe it wasn't part of his like the vocabulary that he'd know. But then suddenly he knows how to pretend to be a police officer. Because he like mimics the cop's voice and he's like 10-4, I'll call for backup if I need it. And I'm like, how do you know
just
that?
Knows the codes.
Where did you learn the codes?
95, don't worry, I got this. It's like, all right, buddy. I got so mad paying attention to his powers because I tried to keep it consistent in my head. I was like, okay, he's when he's by the 4-leaf clover, Or what the fuck is it? No. When he's by his gold is when he gets his powers become stronger.
He gets
and I was like, all
superpowers.
right, I'm going to follow that logic. And that logic was not followed whatsoever. And then I came to realize, oh, Leprechaun can just do anything. He fucking can teleport to oncoming traffic and then magically appear with roller skates. He can fucking get a finger through a telephone. He wasn't able to do simple things. It was funny when I saw him just running, just running towards them, trying to chase them. It's like, you have so much at your disposal. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, so just on that, there's a couple things. So when he's in the hospital and chasing Jennifer Aniston through the hallways while she's trying to find the dude from the original that actually stole the gold, he's they've got that super sped where he's just going really quickly in the wheelchair, and I'm like, you can teleport.
1000%.
At this point, he already had 99 pieces of his gold. So he would have been supercharged at that point. He had I'm pretty sure most of his gold. And but then he never catches her. It takes literally until she's stopped 2 times trying to open a door and then wait for the elevator that he finally catches up. But he is zooming in that wheelchair 3 times faster than she is running down the hallway. So I'm like, what is the point of this? And you've already shown that he can teleport onto vehicles. Why can't he just drop bear teleport on top of that?
I don't.
Which he kind of does. He does that to the cop.
He does it only when it makes sense. The cop thing was the fucking thing that annoyed me the most because they just the sheriff just put in the call to the deputy, and then Leprechaun's sitting there with the dead deputy, and he's like, ha ha ha. And I was like, oh shit, Leprechaun's 9 steps ahead in this particular moment, but he's never 9 steps ahead ever again in the entire movie. He's a fucking moron who's playing catch up.
Yeah, he's dumb.
But this one, he somehow called out they're gonna call the cops and I'm gonna kill this fucking. It's I get it.
He breaks out of that chest. He's all where's my gold? And it's this is not the same person from 40 years ago, dude. I don't know what you think this guy can offer you. But I'm actually really disappointed because so basically something happens. The new people find the gold that the old dude had hid. And homie accidentally swallows a piece. And I was like, yes. This man is going to get gutted and they are going to rip this coin out of him. It's going to be gruesome and brutal. I sound so messed up being yes, this is going to happen. And then it doesn't. Even when he gets the guy later, instead of immediately going for his stomach, he just starts wildly slashing at the dude's face. What are you doing?
Leprechaun has one motive. It's to get his gold. He's not.
So why isn't he just...
I don't fucking know. I thought the same exact thing because as soon as he ate it, this movie's also extremely predictable, just by all means. So as soon as I saw the fucking guy eat the piece of gold, I was like, yeah, same thing. Oh yeah, he's gonna have to get him for the last piece. And yeah, he gets him, and he has a clean 30 seconds with the guy to just fucking tear him open, and he just tortures him, kind of, and just keeps talking and taunting him. And I was like, oh okay, so you don't really want your gold that bad. Is what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, you're just
best parts for me. Anytime fucking Leprechaun got shot with a shotgun, I loved it.
Yeah,
so visually, just that looks great. You just see his body fly every single time,
and then the green blood just spurts out. Just
best parts of the movie. Every single time that happened, it just always got a nice little chuckle out of me.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, that's why I was really disappointed that at the end, again, spoilers here for the Leprechaun, instead of just popping him in the face, they just knock him down the well and set the well, blow up the well, set it on fire. And I'm like, no, you got to pop him in the head. Why would you deny us the satisfaction of that? So you can have sequels, obviously, but still, it's magic. You can have sequels anyways. You could have blown his head clean off and there was some way for him to come back. His hand moved after it got cut off earlier. You could just be after enough time, the Leprechaun's body will just pull itself back together.
Yeah, as if someone would question that. They're like, oh, no. He shot him in the face at the end. It's dude, he got shot a dozen times in that movie. It doesn't matter what happened.
Yeah, at this point, we've had Michael Myers, we've had Jason, we've had Leatherface. We're fine. We're good. You can do this. You can do anything you want. You've established a magic system. You can do anything.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny too because the first time he shoots him 9 times. He pops him once and then he kept shooting, and I thought he was just shooting at bushes because he didn't know where he was. But I was like, oh no, he's just laying shells into the body. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like that he did that, even though it didn't matter in the end. But I was like, I like that he actually cared enough to be like nah, we got him this time.
This podcast is sponsored by Jarritos. There are 12 flavors of Jarritos, including strawberry, mango, tamarind, mandarin, Jamaica grapefruit, lime, Mexican cola, and more. Two of my personal favorites. I'm holding right here. That's tamarind and lime. Delicious. They come in a glass bottle. They're made with real sugars. No HFCs and all natural flavors. So go out there and get the Jarritos Fiesta Packs at your local Walmart to try every flavor. The link will be in the description to find your nearest store. Thank you, Jarritos, for sponsoring this podcast.
Yeah, because that's always my issue with every horror movie. It's just kind of like double tap, triple tap. Like you get them on the ground and then you just drop your weapon and run. Like, no, he's on the ground. Now you can stab him in the head. You can shoot him in the head. You can just keep wailing on him, wailing on that body until like he ain't waking up for a bit. Give him like a brain bleed. So like at least this movie was like, we're going to give you the satisfaction of doing that. But it's for nothing because he's
and it's also immediately taken away because the next time he's on the ground, he shoots him once and then he's like, he looks at him, does nothing, but he's like, yeah, no, he's dead. Yeah. Let's get out of here.
We
got this.
Yeah. It's good. He's like, nah! Just like, so good. I think another thing that made me think it was like a Disney movie is how they did some of the transitions. It was like whip pan transitions with like a sound effect that was like, so it was like really juvenile, like really like the exact type of thing that you would expect to see in like Three Ninjas or something, like just some like old ass Disney, like Nickelodeon type movie. So it's just all these little choices that they made lended into it feeling not like a horror comedy, which is what they probably were going for, but literally just like this was written for children and then we made it like not remotely accessible to children, which I think is just very funny.
How do you think Jennifer Aniston did for her film debut?
I think she did like fine for the type of movie it is. I honestly also think that she thought this was going to kill her career, but I think this was probably really good like practice for Rachel on Friends. Because it's very similar. She's very prissy, prim. She's the smartest one right from the get-go. If she hadn't been dickmatized, which is my new word from a movie I just saw, she was about to go to a hotel. She was going to get the fuck out of Dodge. She didn't want anything to do with this place. And then she sees some dude and she's like, ooh. Hey. You're attractive. I will stay in this dilapidated house filled with cobwebs.
Yeah, that's pretty much how she gets involved in the movie at all. She's just like, oh, this guy's handsome. He's one of those country boys. Yeah. You're carrying paint thinner? Say less, my guy. Was that kid from anything, by the way? Because I kind of recognized his voice.
The little kid? He's been in a handful of things, but always as like really minor side characters. Oddly enough, he was in an episode of Boy Meets World. Just one, though, and it wasn't when he was a little kid. It was when he was older. And I know this because I looked it up.
I was going to look that up because when he was talking, I was like, I know this fucking little kid from somewhere. I've definitely seen him somewhere else. Well,
but I think it's just like they all have that same kind of voice. Like maybe you'll actually recognize him from something that I didn't, but that's what I
started thinking too.
He doesn't even have like a wiki name. Like you can't actually like wiki his name. It defaults to a television show he had been on really briefly, but I don't know why you would have seen that.
Ken Alant?
No, he's like something Robert Hyde Gorman.
Just kidding.
Yeah, Robert Hyde Gorman. The show that he was on was called The Home Court. Did you watch a lot of Home Court on NBC in 1996?
Man, you found my secret favorite show. Robert Hyde Gorman? Okay, I found him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's got an IMDb.
What the fuck
but
Home Court is. Maybe I watched that one episode of Boy Meets World where he was a grown man and I immediately knew. No, then I think I got nothing then. Wait, Full House? Maybe.
Yeah, like was he in Full House? Was he in I might have missed that.
Full House. Maybe.
Was it Full House or Fuller? Oh yeah, Kenneth for one episode of Full House.
Yeah, that was a nice little
Full House
lisp moment right there. Okay.
Wait, Rookie of the Year? You see Rookie of the Year?
Rookie of the Year, damn it.
Okay, it's like the less superior baseball movie to The Sandlot. Are you sure you're not thinking that it's The Sandlot?
No, because I remember the kid. Only because I remember this kid right here, the main one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, Gary Busey's in there.
So maybe you remember him from this. I don't know. I assume he was just one of the rando kids. I haven't seen Rookie of the Year since I was
It's either that or I'm lying, and he He just sounds like every other just random 90s kid in the movie. So
They do sound really similar. That did come out the same year as the Leprechaun. So if you're like remembering some kind of association, it could literally just be Rookie of the Year because he would be like the exact same. But yeah, I had the same thought. I was like, was this kid in something? Like, I feel like, but it's like, no one in this movie except for, as far as I know, Warwick Davis was anyone. Because like, and at the time, I don't actually know how much Warwick Davis would have been in. Because, like, since then, he's been in, like, Harry Potter. He's been in...
Was he in Star Wars?
All sorts of... He was in a lot. Yeah, he's in Star Wars. Right, yeah.
Did you think the movie was funny? Did I ask you that?
You didn't, but no, not really. Like, it's just, like, the comedy didn't hit.
I think there was...
But, yeah.
The only times I laughed, I think it was, like, twice. And it was never because of Leprechaun. I think the kid said random stuff. I think the first time he brought up getting an operation for...
Yes,
that was pretty
say.
funny because it just caught me off guard. Because at first I thought he was going to say like he had like a terminal illness or something. And I was going to be like, oh, this is sad now. And he was like, yeah, no, so you could fix your brain to make you smart. And I was like, well, oh, that was the meanest shit that kid could have said. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. And that like never comes back for anything because like almost anything that's said or happens like pays out later. So like kid is messing around with slingshot, you get the fuck you Lucky Charms scene later. Their truck messes up and he's got to go in there and literally all he does is just jiggle some cables around for a couple seconds and the truck's good to go. Truck won't start later. I still never understand why they don't take the Jeep. There's like a whole ass Jeep there that Jennifer Aniston and her dad show up with, and they never take the Jeep. The truck is busted to shit. Why don't they take the Jeep?
Does the dad never come back? He never comes back after being in the hospital,
He never comes back. He's still in the hospital. Right, yeah, because he was going to be in the hospital overnight, and the rest of the movie takes place that night.
Okay, that's what fucked me up, too, that the whole movie was just one day.
Yeah, it's like a day.
Because Jennifer Aniston never changes her fucking outfit. Same exact thing. Yeah.
No. They're all wearing the same
fun.
thing. Yeah, so they get rid of the authority figure by, like, having him get bit by a leprechaun.
Do you feel like you've mentioned all the pros you have to this movie, or is there something else you got boiling there?
I don't know if I've mentioned any.
So I feel like we've talked about a lot
of
cons, and I think the pros were.
There's not many. Like, it's fine. Like, this is probably one of those ones. Again, if you're drunk and it's Halloween, maybe if you had this playing in the back of like a party or something,
you just keep pushing it
like
further and further away from you actually sitting down to watch it. If it's like in the third room away, low volume.
Yeah, for that like one kid, like the kids who were like a little bit too high, a little bit too drunk, they could just sit down and chill with the Leprechaun. Honestly, no, if I feel like if you had like a good group of friends, you could probably turn this into a really fun drinking game. Because like, you know.
Yeah. If you could make like a fun little list, I'm sure.
There's a lot.
But
yeah. But no, it's like really weird. And Leprechaun, other than killing people in like fairly gruesome ways, it's just very juvenile. Very, very juvenile. Just like, I don't know. It's like, but not, I don't know, because I feel like that's the same thing with Chucky. Chucky does a bunch of juvenile stuff, but then actually manages to like, be like, oh shit, I don't want you coming at me. But the Leprechaun, like by the end, Jennifer Aniston just seems more exasperated. It's not even like fear. It's just kind of like, oh, this is so annoying. We gave him back his gold. This fucking thing just keeps coming at us.
It's weird because like I said, like Leprechaun's not scary, right? The movie doesn't make him scary. He's fucked in the face, but the movie doesn't make him scary. So something like Child's Play, where Chucky rips off his like one-liners, right? Is he still snarky like in the original Child's Play as opposed to like later Chucky where he's definitely snarky as shit? Like he's still kind of got like some Bazinga lines, right?
Yeah.
In the first one.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I think that's like the whole thing. Yeah. I think that's
something like that.
But
like Chucky actually scared the shit out of me when I was young and kind of fucked with me a lot. Leprechaun never did that. Even though I was aware of him, it was just never that vibe with him. And now that I saw the movie, it just like further solidified. Like I'm fully okay with Leprechaun just dying off. This movie doesn't need to be discussed. I know there's always going to be fans of it. I think some of you are blinded by nostalgia. Yeah. I'll be honest. Watch it again if you haven't seen it in a while. I'm just saying. Kind of a butt movie, kind of fucking boring as shit at times too, where it just becomes like a walking simulator, or there's like the weird little suspenseful moments where you're like, what's going on? And then like walking across the room, and it's like, this is kind of taking too long.
No, I totally agree. It's not great. It's one of these ones like I can understand why people enjoy it because I could actually probably see it being a movie where if parents were trying to introduce younger children to horror movies and wanted to pick one that might not be too bad, this one would probably be a decent one because you could just really quickly do the like, ooh, somebody's gonna get their face gouged off, ooh, just real quick, like Rose in the Titanic with the nudity. Parents just like, ooh,
yeah, that's actually
going.
That's a good way to describe it, actually. It's like a little starter pack for horror.
Yeah. Like, this is definitely, like, Leprechaun would terrify children. You'd watch this, and this is, like, scary. Something, like, honestly, it's one of those things, because, like, when you're a kid, I actually feel like something that's, like, eye level with you is probably a little bit scarier than something that's taller that might have to, like, swipe down at you. If this thing can just run right at your face, I think that's a little bit scarier.
Yeah, especially when you see him teleport, and then he can imitate anybody's voice on command.
Yeah. But there was also like not a lot of logic with that. So like when they knock him out at one point when they're looking for the clover and then the kid is just back at the house trying to make a trap. And instead of him like waking up and being like, oh shit, they're looking for a clover, I should fuck them all up right now. He teleports back to the kid. And it's like, you saw them. Did you he's not smart. I think that's the biggest issue. He's really, really dumb. Like, Leatherface, who just pig squeals all the time and can't really speak, is smarter than Leprechaun.
In a weird way, he's just well, not in a weird. I was gonna say he's kind of lucky. Haha. He's just lucky. He just gets lucky halfway, like the entire time throughout the movie. Like, oh, I kind of called this out. I was able to stop this. You guys kind of fell into my trap here, but like, yeah, no, you're right. He's a fucking idiot, and I think it's further solidified because he has no other motive. He just wants gold. Like if he got all his gold, if he counted the 100th coin, movie over.
He would have gone.
And then he goes back to Leprechaun Land or wherever the fuck he's from.
Yeah, exactly. Probably Ireland. But
no, that sounded racist.
But the other thing is that like the whole like the whole like even him dissuading the cops from coming. What was the point? What are the cops gonna do? He can't be killed unless you have a clover. He just what is the point?
Now it's just going into like a Joker realm where he was like he just wants chaos, but like he's never told us that. Just chaos. Really outright. I don't know. Leprechaun. Watching it again 40 years later, disappointing.
30. We ain't that old
it's
yet.
Disappointing and. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the sequels, maybe they got more bizarre, so like he could at least hang his hat on that. Maybe. But this one is just kind of average across the fucking board for me.
What's weird is that this has gone on to have so many sequels, which I get is like common with horror movies a lot, but like this isn't even like super well received by audiences or critics. This doesn't like I know it has a cult following, but usually when movies get really strong cult followings, those like audience ratings will start going up. This thing has a 27% from critics, which, to be fair, is only based on 15 reviews because I'm guessing, not a lot of people are going back and aggregating really old reviews or making new ones. But the audience ones, 25,000 plus ratings, 32%. So, like, the first one isn't even, like, necessarily cult popular, unless it's kind of like we acknowledge that this is really bad, but we're having a good time with it, which I assume is probably a lot of people. But it's weird.
It's fucking worse. It's a 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. Jesus.
Oh my god. And they kept going?
It still had a budget of $2 million for part 2. What the hell was the budget on part 1? $1 million. Oh, so they doubled the budget for the sequel.
$1 million. Good for them. That's what I mean. That's the thing with horror movies and why they always seem to get sequels is because most of the time you can make them for like dirt cheap. They always turn a profit, which means you can either make a sequel or like put money into more things. That is literally the Blumhouse model. So like Blumhouse does like Fantasy Island, Truth or Dare. They make movies with like no fucking budget, but they obviously get their budget back so they can just filter it into more
so basically
shit.
regardless of fucking critical reception, with the budget of $1 million on the first part, they made $8.6 million at the box office in the US. So it made more than 8 times their money. Why would they not make another fucking movie? However, part 2, they barely got their fucking money back. Budget $2 million, box office 2.3.
Ooh.
So they're treading water on that one. Third one, I have no fucking clue. I refuse to look at it. All I know is part 4, he goes to space.
Which is very soon in the Leprechaun franchise. It took 10 movies for Jason to get to
He
space.
just went straight to it. He said, fuck this, I'm not messing around. And then that's when he started going in the hood, back to the hood. I vaguely remember those. And to be honest, I don't really care to rewatch any of these. And these the newest ones, these look like shit.
It looks like the attempts at like, we're going to make it more serious. We're going to do Leprechaun right.
Yeah, no.
Which is automatically wrong. I could be wrong about that, but
I don't really care to find out personally, but
yeah, me neither. I don't want to watch these. I think I think Warwick Davis finally said, I'm too good for this, and hasn't done any of the like newer ones. I don't know what the last one Warwick Davis would have been involved in. Maybe the one where he went to space.
He went to Back to the Hood. He went back to the hood and he did his
Oh,
thing.
he did Back to the damn. Oh, he did. So that might be the last one. So
But then Origins, no, he was not fucking with that. Whatever that is. Origins. No. Leprechaun Origins ill. Fucking dog shit title. I hate it.
Just fucking Origins, fucking terrible.
Oh. Yeah, but I don't know, kind of disappointed. Look at like going with nostalgia through like all these. I'm pretty sure if I watched a lot of old horror movies that I probably randomly hold in high regard for no reason, I might dislike them. But I kind of remember watching stuff like Puppet Master like somewhat recently, and I was like, I don't hate this. This is fine. Like this is still kind of creepy in essence. I remember kind of watching Hellraiser. I liked Hellraiser. I don't know. This one's just dog shit, personally.
Yeah, it's not great. Like I hated horror as a kid, and I hated like being able to anticipate that something was going to happen and just waiting for it to happen. So like Halloween, even as an adult, like the first one, like the original, was still a nightmare for me because I'm just kind of like, I know you're going to kill the bitch that you're lumbering behind. You know that you're going to kill the bitch that you're lumbering behind. Why can't you just go up there and just do it? Just get it out. Just get it out of the way. Just get it over with. But now I'm like super into horror, so it's really interesting because I don't have any of these like experiences as being a kid and maybe seeing something I shouldn't have been watching and then reacting to it like later in life. Like these are all things that I've gone back and like revisited it from like, I think the first horror movie I saw was when I was 13 and it was 13 Ghosts, which is like, I just remember somebody gets cut in half by the door. That's like the only thing I remember. It was at a friend's place. I did not want to watch it. I was fighting against it. I was like, don't let them know you're a pussy and this is why you don't want to watch it. But we watched it. And then ever since then, I was like, I guess I'm okay.
That's a harsh entrance. Dog shit movie, but visually, there's a lot of fuck shit in there.
There is. Like, that scene is literally like emblazoned in my head of homie getting like snapped and just cut in half by the glass doors. Which was like inspired because then he falls and you just see half of his inside.
They went all on that movie. That movie, some of the characters
really
in that movie
did.
fuck with me for a while too, but
God damn. I wouldn't mind watching that again, honestly.
I wouldn't.
Let us know if you want us to cover it.
Those characters are cool. Some of that, like the jackal, looks sick. I don't remember that. There's a guy with like nails in him. They're like cool characters, cool concept. Yes. Honestly, I just remember being like, "This is dumb," but like cool idea, cool character, but like super dog shit movie. Otherwise,
too dumb. Yeah.
That's all I remember from that. If I had to give Leprechaun a score, ranging from 1 to 10, 1 being tent on fire, dog shit McGee, 10 being delicious s'more, Hershey's marshmallows, graham cracker, no product placement here. I would give Leprechaun a 2. I'd give Leprechaun a 2.
Yeah, I think I might be generous and give it like a 3, but honestly, I don't know what I would give it that extra
0.4.
0.4. So yeah, so like let's get. I'm down for a 2. Like the tent is on fire. There's not too much redeeming qualities here, and I feel like the line "fuck you, Lucky Charms" is funny in a way that they did not want it to be funny. You know, it's not like, "Ooh, you fucking got him, kid." It's just kind of like, I can't fucking believe they made him say that. But yeah, I'm gonna say this one does not. There's a reason why Leprechaun is not mentioned when we're discussing the horror cult classic villains, such as Jason, Freddy, even Ghostface from the newer age.
Yeah,
you
I'll
know?
take. Yeah,
Doesn't hold up.
they're all miles ahead of them. Even the ending to the movie, such an abrupt ending to that fucking movie.
Yeah, and it's an abrupt beginning. It's literally just him wandering down the stairs, and he's all like, I've got my gold. And you don't actually see how the dude, like, I feel like they cut the whole scene where the opening dude follows him to steal the gold. You know, like, it's like they cut that whole scene, homie, just like you just see him holding the gold, and then it cuts to the dude going back to his home, being like, I found a leprechaun and made him give me his gold. And then the ending just pans over the well where it's all like, here I will lie until my spell is broken or something like that. And I'm like, what spell? You got blown up after having a 4-leaf clover shot down your throat. What are you talking about?
It's never mentioned. It's just like, we're just going to say something. And like, he tries like making it a poem too. I'm like, this dog shit in this spell in the well that I dwell. It's like, who wrote this? Stop this.
Yeah.
And then immediately just like,
it starts with the
credits
poem.
like out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Like when it actually started, I was like, oh, is this, we going in this fast? And then there's just very interesting editing.
I love the dubs.
Good for them.
There's so many times where you hear the character like running away and like kind of making like a panting noise and being like, oh no, please go away. And then they also dubbed over lines like, don't kill me, Leprechaun. You just hear like Jennifer Aniston, 2 voices. It's like, that's nice. It's good stuff.
Yeah, good ADR work, guys. Good ADR.
But yeah,
man.
Leprechaun's butt.
Yeah.
I would never recommend it to anybody unless, like Amanda said, make a drinking game out of it. But I feel like you could do that for any movie, so I'm not even going to give it that much credit.
It's true.
Leprechaun's butt. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Appreciate you guys. If you would like your question answered on the show, guys, leave it in the form of a 5-star review on Spotify, and we will answer it on the next available episode. We high-key haven't done that, so that means you guys must not be leaving 5-star reviews. Get to it. Hello, come on, so we can answer your questions. Come on, you fucks. Make sure to follow More Butter on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube, of course. Amanda?
Of course. Thanks so much for listening to the Camp Counselors podcast. I personally love and make sure you keep your popcorn buttered, or butter your popcorn, which I just feel has a nice little double entendre in there somewheres. Happy camping. Yeah,
happy camping, baby. I am Mista GG, Amanda the Jedi, the legend. We will see you guys on another episode. Bye.